Hello everyone, welcome to With the Bentleys YouTube channel, and in this episode we are talking about cars. Now you might think to yourself, oh, what do these guys know about cars? Well, I'll tell you what, we actually know quite a lot. I studied mechanics about 12 years ago because I was a kind of passionate car fan, always have been, loved cars since I was little, obsessed with them. And then from doing mechanics, I basically stayed in the industry for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
And obviously studied at university in the meantime. Always customized my own cars, changing the oils and servicing them myself. I've been working on cars for a long time.
Chop them off.
As for Ricky, explain your situation with cars.
Right, my situation with cars is like I've been always loving cars since I was really young because my dad used to be a mechanic engineer.
Yeah.
For like his whole life. So I did. Well, when I went to university, it's nothing to do with cars, but I met Daniel and he loved cars. And after we graduated from uni and we started the business together.
Yeah, we started a business and guess what we're doing? Yes, that's right. We're doing car customization. So it's not just a little thing that we're just starting a video on that we have no clue about. We know a lot.
And also what we mainly do, because car customization is only the side thing we do, isn't it? What we mainly do is we sell vinyl wrap. That is,
yeah, we manufacture vinyl wrap and sell it worldwide. If you're interested, rjvinyls.co.uk. But you're not interested. You're here to talk about cars. So okay, let's talk about cars.
No, you can tell them, like, people can check us out.
Yeah,
on
if you've got
Instagram,
your own personal project, Instagram at rjvinyls
and RG Customs, and so you will see we actually do have a background with cars.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about cars now, and I want to bring up the subject of the best car in the world.
Right. What is the best car in the world?
A lot of people viewing this won't have a clue about cars. So if they don't have a clue about cars, then this is not really helpful, is it? But I'm going to talk about best car in the world. Now, I think best car in the world is very difficult to say exactly what it is. But you can definitely say a category of what kind of car is the best kind of car. And I'd say you can definitely say it's a 4x4. The reason I say that is because it's an all-rounder. Practical, all-rounder. You've got space for your kids. You've got cup holders for your drinks. Yeah. So I'm talking about like practical things, okay? So dare I say...
And you can use it as a van.
Dare I say Range Rover.
Range Rovers are pretty good, but I think I prefer like a bigger size Range Rover. If it's an Evoque.
No, not an Evoque.
Is too small inside.
It's got to be a Vogue. If you get an Evoque, maybe a Sport, but I'd say a Vogue.
Vogue and Land Rovers, Discoveries, they're not bad either.
Not bad, yeah. They're pretty basic on the inside, though.
Yeah, but it depends on your budget as well, right? Because Vogue is the most expensive.
Actually, no, the Discoveries are not basic. The Defenders are basic.
The
Discoveries are quite nice.
Defenders, I think they don't make anymore.
But they changed the Discovery. Have you seen the way it looks now? Not really a big fan.
It's quite a few different look.
I only like Callum's mum. She's got the new Discovery Sport. I don't think the Discovery Sport you get in the US. So if any of you guys are watching from the US,
Callum's mum car look good because Callum got skills.
Yeah,
he modified
exactly.
it. Exactly.
I would say with all cars that are coming out of the factory right now, you can't say all cars. Most cars that are coming from major brand manufacturers, right? They need modification straight from the factory to look any good. A lot of them are coming out looking like they're just looking very, very standard and stock. And there's certain tolerances that manufacturers work within. And the reason they work within these tolerances is because of safety and laws and regulations to do with lighting and all that kind of stuff. That's the reason cars need headlights. Cars need headlights because of law, not because that's how they want to make the car.
Yeah.
The cars need grills at the front. Why do they need grills? For air cooling.
Yeah, I think
for styling, there's so many regulations that the bumpers have to be plastic.
Yeah,
you can't have a protruding emblem from the bonnet anymore because they changed the laws. You have to have daytime running lights according to EU regulations. So all the cars now are changing and they're subject to these laws. That's
regulations.
That's what pushes manufacturers down this styling route. If you look at the Honda NSX that they just made, right, a couple of years ago. They brought out the NSX, and the reason they styled it that way, they got actual stylists to do it.
They all do, don't they?
They spend loads of money. They don't all necessarily do it. What they did is they actually use actual artists.
Right. Okay.
And it was like some woman. She didn't know really anything about cars. If you ask her anything about cars, she doesn't know the answer.
Why do they have
the woman who was working for Honda because she's a stylist? and they styled the body lines of the NSX to make it look really nice.
Right, okay.
We'll pull up a picture of the new NSX on the screen now so you can see it. That's the new Honda NSX. Came out in concept. It looked really nice. And actually, to be honest, they stuck with it quite well. It turned out to be really nice.
But isn't that too small, though, that car?
Too small.
If you like single...
Too small.
Then that's
it's just
all right,
like the F-Type, isn't it?
Well, F-Type, don't even get me started.
It's a toy.
I think it's the most impractical.
It's just a toy. It's just a little toy. I mean, end of the day, we're big people, right? So
but still,
I'm 6'2". You're 5'10", right?
Yeah.
So, it's designed for people who are like 5'8" and below.
But still, if you carry a handbag even that size when you're in the car, unless you put it in the boot,
got to be in the boot.
You've got no space for it,
yeah.
and that boot won't even be big enough to fit a suitcase.
Nope.
So basically, with that car, you can't even go to do your daily shopping.
Yeah.
You barely do that.
You can't do anything in it.
Or unless you don't carry anybody next to you, then you put the shopping on the seat.
Just put your all your bananas and your eggs, just put them on the passenger seat.
Yeah, then you can't buy a lot of stuff either.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little toy. I mean, when we had that F-Type for a while, I've driven one and floored one, drifted one. It was quite fun, but it's a little go-kart.
Yeah,
that car's hilarious.
I don't really like the fact that they've got.
It's not that fast either.
It's got that exhaust. You can just show it that it actually loud. I don't really know.
It's got a button basically on the dash for all you guys that don't know about cars. Push the button, it makes your exhaust like louder and pops and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which is great for party tricks. And we took it to a wedding, didn't we? And it was fine, but. For practical use daily, it really isn't a good daily.
No.
It really isn't. I mean, you take a bag, you got to put it in the boot. You can't put it next to you. You can't put it the seats behind you. Fair enough.
Tiny.
Fair enough. You get used to it. But, I mean, it's not my tasting vehicles.
No.
I've always had a certain taste in vehicles, and they all go along the luxury limousine line.
You like granddad cars.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I say best car in the world is a Range Rover, I do happen to own a Range Rover. But it's not because I'm necessarily a fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? I'm not actually a big fan of a Range Rover too much, but I'm much more of a luxury saloon type person.
Yeah.
Much more. In America, sedan. Yeah. So, for example, the Jaguar XJL Supercharged, the 760 Li, the S63 AMG. It doesn't even have to have necessarily the engine. It could have like a economy or a diesel engine with the top spec.
I do prefer petrol cars to diesel cars. I really do because simply because it sounds a lot better. Diesel sounds kind of annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, diesels aren't that bad. You hear the new ones; they're actually pretty quiet.
Are they? Yeah. But it's got that petrol cars. The engine sounds quite powerful.
Yeah,
it feels like it's quite awake and it's ready to go. But diesels are should I go? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but what about that 640D?
640D is a quite nice car.
BMW 640D.
Very pretty.
We'll bring a picture up of that on the screen. BMW 640D is lovely. Lovely. I mean, they came up with the concept of that. I mean, when did it come out? 13, I think.
It's fast as well, right? That car.
Yeah, 640D is pretty quick. It's quick for a diesel. And it's only a 3-litre. So you call it a 640, but it's not a 40 anyway. It's a 30. And manufacturers have been doing this recently. They've just changed the AMGs. It's no longer a 63. There's a 53.
53?
Yeah, they do a 53. They do a 43.
I know they do. 43 is only a 2-litre, isn't it?
And they do the 45.
45?
It's crazy. Like, they're just changing the Mercs up like mad. Because basically, you know why they did a 63 back in the day anyway from Mercedes?
Right.
They brought out the Mercedes 63s, okay, because back in the day, they had the 6.3.
Right, okay.
And that was back in like the 70s.
Now it's only a badge.
They brought out the big boy 6.3, right? And then years later, they brought out the Mercedes, and it basically hallmarked it with the C63 that came out back in like 2010. Actually, you know what? It came out in, I think, 5708, right?
Right, okay.
Where they brought out the C63, yeah? And then they brought out the 6.2 litre, but they called it a C63. They call it C63 as a throwback to the original 6.3.
So there's no point in calling it a C63.
No point in calling it a C63 because it's a 6.2 anyway. And it's a 6.2 naturally aspirated V8. Then they brought it and upgraded it to a 5.5 litre V8 twin turbo. Okay, so they dropped the engine size and added 2
Put
turbos
turbos.
instead. Similar power output, actually a little bit more, and 4-wheel drive, right? Then they still call it a C63, even though actually it's a 55, because they used to be bringing out 55s back in like 03s when they brought out the E55. They did the E55, they did the C43, and they did the S. I think they were just bringing out 600s and 500s, which I thought that Mercedes 500. I'm not.
I think manufacturers nowadays they become better and better in doing business on marketing and stuff like that. That's why I think, recently the new E-Class, S-Class and C-Class, they look exactly the same. And Audi has done that. A4, A6, A8 look exactly the same, just different sizes. And also, like you said,
BMW.
C43 and all that stuff. C63 and C45.
They're very clever.
They're just targeting on... Then they brought out...
You look at Range Rover and Land Rover as an example, right? I mean, they were taken over, weren't they, by Tata, right?
Yeah.
Right, and Land Rover own Jaguar, right?
Yeah.
And then look what they've done with Jag. They've
got
the F-Pace, which one of my friends works at Jag, no names, and he was working on the F-Pace before it was released, weighing it, because they were very concerned about the weight when they were releasing it, because they're only putting a 2-litre diesel engine in it. And with a 2-litre diesel and a 4x4, it won't move. So they have to make it very light.
And that car looked just like a Velar, looked just like, those cars. You can see underneath is the same.
You've got the E-Pace, I think, the new one.
Right, a smaller version.
Yeah, and even smaller than that.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Audis. You've got the Q1, the Q3, the Q5, the Q7.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on? Then you've got the X1 from BMW, the X3, the X5, the X6. What's going on?
And also Golf R and Audi S3 actually is the same car underneath.
Like manufacturers they're very smart because they're bringing out a 4x4 for every single tier, because 4x4s have become so much more popular in recent years.
Yeah.
Nobody really wants a small car anymore.
It's more practical.
I mean, if you try to make
those.
a car like they used to be back in the day, the little Mini. I remember my mum owned a Mini back in the day, the tiny little box thing, Mr. Bean Mini, right?
That's cute.
And then they brought out the Mini. Okay.
Even Mini now they're massive.
And Minis are big, and then they do like a Mini, it's like a Ford Focus.
Countryman is really big.
Yeah, like
isn't
they've
it?
got big Minis now, and they're not Mini anymore, but they're obviously BMW owned. And they're really smart, so they're bringing out loads of different 4x4s, and they're all different stages.
Yeah.
Well, look how many blooming Land Rovers are there now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
You've
loads.
got the Evoque, 3-door and 5-door.
Yeah.
You've got the Discovery Sport and the Discovery. Yeah.
Yeah. Quite a few different Discoveries.
There's a few Discoveries.
Yeah. The number plates. One ugly one is on the side.
Yeah, that's the full Discovery.
And
then
normal,
they do the Discovery Sport.
Yeah.
Like with what they've got. And then after the Discovery Sport, then you've got the Sport.
Yeah.
And then
Range Rover Sport.
Then you've got the Vogue.
Yeah.
It's
and
insane.
Velar.
And then you got the Velar.
Yeah.
I mean, there's endless 4x4s of varying sizes. I mean,
and
if you're like,
Defender.
I want one of these, but I want it slightly
smaller,
larger, or slightly smaller. There you go. That's your model.
Yeah.
They're very clever, honestly. So they've got better at marketing, and they just make one for every single range. So basically you can open up a book and they've got a whole set of models.
And when you go buy a car, they try to sell you a high spec to start with. Otherwise, you're on a waiting list for like 18 months.
You want that new car, do you? Right, well, you can't have it.
Just buy the high spec.
You can't have it. And the thing is, right, if you want, this is known, right, with anyone who wants to get any high-end cars, we're talking about, if you want to get yourself any high-end vehicle, high-end, I'm talking like a Chiron, yeah, by Bugatti, yeah, or you want to get one of those new ones that just came out, the Devo, right? You ain't getting that car.
Yeah, you have to be like 1,000.
You have to be a certain kind of person to get that, right? And you have to brown nose the right kind of person, the right person working at Bugatti to get it as well, right? If you ever wondered, you see these old guys walking around with a Ferrari shirt on. They've got a Ferrari, but not just of the Ferrari. They've got the hat, they've got the jacket, and then they've got
have to buy the package to be able to buy the car.
They've got the pants and the shoes. They look like a racing driver, like sponsored by Ferrari, but they're not.
They have to spend money.
They got to spend 25 grand to get all the extras, right? And then when you get a Ferrari, Ferrari and you want to get it made, you can't get it custom made how you want it.
Yeah.
You have to custom make it how they want you to have it custom made.
Yeah.
Right? You can't get your car how you want your car, basically. You have to spend a fortune elsewhere to get it how you want it. And
Might
to
as
be
well
honest,
just buy second hand.
I'm not that kind of person. I'm not interested in that kind of game. I would much rather go buy the car I'm interested in. And to be honest, that's why I said whatever car coming from the manufacturers needs to be modified. In my opinion, modify it yourself. Bring it to me. If you're in the Manchester area in the UK, bring it to me. I'll modify it for you.
Is that a product placement?
Yeah. So honestly. So for example, let's say wheels, right?
Yeah.
We'll pick wheels as an example. Wheels, I think, coming from a car customization expert, I think wheels, is the most important modification to a car.
Nice
the most
pair of
important.
shoes, yeah.
The most important modification. I didn't used to think so. I didn't used to think so. But obviously it depends on what car you've got. You know, you might have a car, for example, it looks tragic, but you've got a set of 18s on it. And actually the standard 18s are okay if they're in gloss black. All right. So you just change the exterior bits a little bit. And then, you know, your car looking nice, right?
Yeah.
I remember I had a Mercedes C-Class. Okay. Like an 03 one a few years back, right?
I remember this, the wheels.
And that car, I did quite like it. I mean, I broke it in about 2 days.
Actually,
I had it.
you know, it's not like a few years back. It's like a decade back.
Oh, it's ages ago. I had that car ages ago.
Shows your age.
I've had two C classes actually. I've had two C classes, an E class. We've had about 7 Mercedes.
Yeah, we had quite a lot of Mercedes.
Yeah,
in the
we've had
past.
about 7 or 8 Mercedes, and favorite brand in the world, by the way.
Yeah, Mercedes, they're really cool
Mercedes.
because they do vans and all that stuff as well. They have really very broad range.
Yeah,
of,
Mercedes is my favorite brand.
and
Always
old
has been.
school Mercedes, they're pretty as well.
I think, like, if you compare it against any of its counterparts, Mercedes are undefeated, always have been. I mean, I've got this beautiful W140, S-Class, imported from Japan. Mint condition, rust-free, everything beautiful, right?
30,000 miles.
I've always wanted that car, okay? That car, to me, it represents a manufacturing milestone to me, you know? So that car is like, if any of you know your cars, you'll know what that car is. It's pretty much like it is a kind of benchmark that was set back when it was created. They brought out the 500 SEL before it, which was like
the SEs, they quite nice.
Yeah. It was the one prior to it, yeah. And they brought out the big limousine saloon, and Mercedes have been making cars for hundreds of years, well not hundreds, but 100 plus years, right? And well, you should see some of the old stuff they made. Oh, I can't wait until I can get hold of like a 50s thing. I'm going to get a 50s Benz.
SE Cabriolet, that convertible one, that is so nice.
This is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Because of what's happened with the regulations have got far more strict.
Yeah.
Because like, you look at what stunts Volkswagen are pulling now with that. You saw the thing they were in trouble with
the emission
a few years ago, the emission crisis and that thing. But basically, governments obviously want to press down on these cars, and they want to press down on the manufacturers making them to make them more, you know, supposedly eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly, yeah.
So there's so much more regulation than there used to be. Right now, with cars, it's a nightmare. Back in the day, they were much more free with designs. They really were.
Yeah.
They really were. You
Yeah.
look at the E-Type.
Yeah, they've got 8 liters, the old Americans, isn't it? 8
Yeah.
liters.
I mean, it might not seem like there's much difference. Let you pull up a picture of an E-Type Jaguar, okay, which is the old school E-Type, and then you pull up a picture of the F-Type Jaguar, which is kind of similar, but the E-Type much more long, and it was all metal. Like those bumpers are metal. Like if you hit somebody, those shins are gone. Do you see what I mean? Like
And
nowadays,
the
everything's
chrome
just
plastic.
falls off. It's
The
just rubbish.
chrome used to be like a proper metal chrome.
Oh, beautiful.
Nowadays, it's plastic trims.
Oh, amazing. The stuff back in the day, the quality and the engineering workmanship we're using, real materials, was sublime.
Yeah.
It was second to none. And nowadays, they're just using, you know, lesser than they're using substandard materials to make a high standard
As cheap
vehicle.
as possible. A lot of new cars, the roof is like as thin as paper, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot. It's to do with, like, basically, if you want to get something good nowadays, you have to pay £1 million for it.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Like, you look at those new Phantoms. You know how much the new Phantoms cost? 480. 480.
Phantoms and
480 grand
that's
for a new
that's
Phantom.
in England. In China, it's over $1 million.
Yeah, that's because of tax, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But let's see how much they're charging just for a Phantom. I mean, we're talking a Rolls-Royce Phantom, right? That's not even the best one they do. They made that Septail, okay, with that. There was a customer of theirs in Rolls-Royce. They spent 5 years making it with him, and it's called the Septail, and charged him £10 million.
Well, that's 5 years though.
It's insane. That's what it is.
Yeah, but that guy is quite patient with them as well. He's prepared to spend 5 years to build something.
Yeah, but now he can just go in his garage and he can be like, oh, look at my Septail. That's a custom-made Rolls-Royce. It's like people with money, they've got too much money and they don't have any drive in life. And they just think, you know what, I'm just going to spend money here just because I can.
Yeah.
Well, they think to themselves,
but
why not?
they might be older, so they just, grab and hold the last bit of
Do you know
life
what that £10 million
and
can
enjoy
do?
it. Yeah. Build loads
Go
of
to
schools.
Africa and build some schools.
Yeah, build loads.
Yeah?
They're not that expensive to build.
It's unbelievable.
Or just give food out. It's like it will last for years and years.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just turned my mic round to the side. I was talking to the side and I could see James adjusting it. And just like, what's going on?
See, I'm watching where I'm speaking.
Well done. Well done. Sorry, I keep twisting it. It's difficult
Oh, okay.
to keep
You
straight.
stop here then.
Yeah, so thanks for joining this video. If you want us to talk about more cars, make sure you drop a comment down below. I could talk about cars for weeks, and Ricky hears me talking about it all the time. So we're used to talking about cars. I think, like I said, wheels, best modification. Anything else we need to run by?
Yeah, and for the vinyls, we do cast vinyls. Top quality is like 3M, Oracle, and Hexas equivalent, but with better price and better range as well.
Yeah, it's a better range. Do you know why? Because we made it.
Yeah.
You'll
Years
find
of expertise.
Mega companies, right? They don't really care. That's the difference.
No.
And we care.
Yeah, we bring out fancy colors the other manufacturers don't, right?
Yeah.
See you next time. Thank you for tuning in.